Handling generational diversity. For the first time, there are more generations than ever working side by side in our workplaces. No longer do you see older people as the only bosses and younger people relegated to entry-level roles. These dynamics can create tension and upheaval among colleagues, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Everyone who goes to work today must start with the willingness to talk about differences and not allow the issue of age and generations to be a source of silence or friction. I often coach older workers to remove the emotion, even though it's easy to let emotions get the best of you when you're taking orders from someone who could be your kid's age. But this is business, not personal. And to succeed on the job and not drive yourself mad, it's key to focus on uniting, not dividing, based on those differences. One way of doing that is to resist the urge to classify people based on stereotypes. The most common, the older workers' belief that their younger colleagues are inexperienced, impatient, and immature simply because of their youth. On the flip side, the younger workers are more apt to see their older colleagues as rigid, inflexible, slow, and resistant to change. Agree to banish that kind of thinking. Remind yourself that we all know people who definitely meet those descriptions, but we also know plenty who don't. Give the people you work with the benefit of the doubt, and don't be so quick to ascribe these traits to them based solely on age. Take authority and hierarchy. This is perhaps where age differences and bias are most prominent. Older workers believe that authority is earned over time. You put in your years as a manager and a leader, and it's through time and experience that you earn authority. Younger workers, however, reject that line of thinking. Instead, they believe that talent, skills, and performance drive authority and hierarchy. It doesn't matter how old I am, if I can prove my value, even in a very short period of time, then I deserve to run the department and make the decisions. I don't have to wait for the calendar to tell me it's time for a promotion. The war for talent has forced employers to take that perspective of the younger generation or risk losing their star performers to the competition. Money and advancement is another issue. Again, boomers as a whole believe that time drives raises and promotions. After each year or two of service, I'm entitled to a raise. As I put in my time, my career will advance along a track from A to B to C and so on. Seems logical, right? Not according to Gen X and Gen Y, which just don't see it that way at all. They believe performance and results should drive compensation and promotion. They're more apt to ask for a raise after doing great on a big project after perhaps only even 6 months. They have no qualms about asking to leapfrog titles and positions without regard to protocol that was historically based on age. This issue matters most when considering how to approach your boss. If you work for a younger person, you should know the sensibilities that he or she brings to the position. The boss's perspective, not yours, will likely determine raises and promotions. You should ask your boss outright, what's your philosophy on awarding raises and promotions? And then there's technology. Another concern is that older workers aren't comfortable with technology. A prospective employer shouldn't assume, instead ask. Tell me about your comfort level with technology. How would you define your skill level and your daily use of technology? Similarly, if your younger boss is a tech whiz, don't allow it to intimidate you. Instead, be proactive about it. Try saying, you've no doubt grown up with all things technology, and I can see you're strong in this area. So I'd welcome the chance to work with you to improve my skills, and I hope I can count on your support. Communication styles. Much of the differences here are driven by technology. Younger workers have grown up communicating personally via text messages, instant messaging, and email, and they bring those methods to work. Older people, on the other hand, have long favored face-to-face communication, so when they're delivered orders or news via email, it's often seen as rude or inconsiderate. The solution here must focus on compromise. That younger worker needs to get up from behind his or her desk and invest time talking face-to-face with coworkers. And the older worker must realize that email is often preferred and even more efficient and faster. Don't assume you must always see the boss directly when communicating. If you're willing to tweak your thinking and at least consider the position of the other side, you're well on your way to improving those tricky workplace dynamics.